The following is unscripted. I have attempted to make a script for this about 7 different times, and each one did not land. So disclaimer, the following will be stream of conscious like thoughts and more off the head type of thinking. Hey guys, so yeah, it's Oaf. I have tried to make a script for this video, as the disclaimer ahead of time said, about 7, 8 different times right now, and I'm sitting here right now with some key notes on the script that I've had each time that I'm taking away with, and I can't really make a script like I could for like a theory or something like that. So this one has to come off like the top of the head, more comes from like the heart, you know. The Ocarina of Time Remake at first shocked me. I have talked with quite a few friends for a few months now. The Ocarina of Time Remake has been within our circles for a few months, and I personally did not believe it. I first heard about the Ocarina of Time rumors about February of 2026. I heard it from a couple of friends, and I didn't believe it. I honestly did not believe that the Ocarina of Time rumors were true. When the Star Fox remake got shown, I thought that would be the end of the Ocarina of Time remake rumors, but lo and behold, we actually got the trailer. And I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away. I went straight to Oaf level, my server I have, and I tagged my Zelda crew. Zoey, the Dream Shrine, LH, Dan, Rev, Brick. I tagged them all. And I said, Zoe, you're right. And she says, looks like I was right. I'm like, yes, you were. Yes, you were. And I didn't believe it until that day, until we had the direct, until it was shown. And I just gotta say that is amazing to me. It is amazing that we're getting Ocarina of Time to come back like this. Ocarina of Time stands out as a very important Zelda game, and it's not just because it was the first 3D Zelda game. Ocarina of Time, to me personally, stands out as one of the more important games in the Zelda series. It is, yes, of course, the game that features the infamous split. Ocarina of Time features the infamous timeline split, where in one outcome where the hero of time fails to kill Ganondorf, Ganondorf turns into his alter ego, Ganon, and rains hell, creating the downfall timeline, where Ganondorf, through his alter ego Ganon and the power of the Triforce power, is able to extract courage from the corpse of the hero of time and steal wisdom from the still living Princess Zelda before the princess and the sages are able to seal Ganon in the, sacred realm with the Triforce. This would lead into A Link to the Past and the Downfall timeline, which originally Ocarina of Time was made to be that story of, hey, this is what happens, and then we have A Link to the Past, right? And then the importance of Ocarina of Time stands out even more, because when you actually beat the game, Zelda's like, hand me the ocarina, and I'll send you back to relive your childhood. Granted, you're going to have the mind of, like, literally a 17 and 18-year-old, whatever, but you're going to have to go back and relive your childhood from, like, 10 years old onwards. Sorry, but... Or maybe the hero of time was 9 and he became 16 when he became a quote-unquote adult. But neither here nor there. What we're getting at is Ocarina of Time was that backstory for A Link to the Past, and at the same time created both the child and adult timelines. So effectively made 3 timelines with this game. And let's not forget, it was the first 3D Zelda game which would push the boundaries of not just the storytelling and the world building Nintendo would have, but also the hardware they had available to them. Now, Ocarina of Time to me is very special. Ocarina of Time is not my favorite Zelda game, but it is one of my favorite Zelda games. My actual favorite Zelda game, the one I love the most, is Twilight Princess. And talking about, A Link to the Past being a sequel of Ocarina of Time, we also have Wind Waker, which is a sequel of Ocarina of Time via the adult timeline. But then through the child timeline, after the era of time, which yes would encapsulate with Majora's Mask, we have Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess is a story of the grandson of the hero of time. Twilight must take up the same mantle his grandfather took and save the kingdom. But this time, we don't get really the word Triforce. We get imagery of the Triforce. We get the description of power of the gods or sacred power of the gods, but ultimately, Twilight Princess is not a game about the Triforce like you would get with Ocarina of Time, like you would get with Wind Waker, like you would get with A Link to the Past. Twilight Princess is unique because, to me, it was the game to focus on the hero saving the kingdom and not focusing on the Triforce. Sure, it's there, and sure, it's part of the story, but it's not a major part of the story, right? It's not the key hook. It's not the main focus of the game. Take an example with prior games that were released beforehand. You have Zelda 1. You gotta get the Triforce of Wisdom and save Princess Zelda from Zelda 1. Or you have Zelda 2, Adventure Link, where you have to go and save Princess Zelda and make sure Ganon doesn't get reincarnated or resurrect, and get the Triforce of Courage. You even have with Ocarina of Time the whole thing of Ganondorf wanting the Triforce. You have the whole thing with Wind Waker of Ganondorf wanting the Triforce. But you also have games like Link's Awakening. That's a game where you don't focus on the Triforce, but you're not focusing on Hyrule. You're focusing on Koholint, where the dream world became reality, where the ethereal became real. You talk to anybody who's played Link's Awakening, and they hold it in such high regards. Even to me, I think Link's Awakening is up there with Echoes of Wisdom. Echoes of Wisdom, for instance, is probably my favorite 2D Zelda game, and I think Link's Awakening would hold a close second next to that. The whole thing about Twilight Princess, though, is it's not just you're focusing on the people and the kingdom. You're focusing on saving everyone and not just one relic. You yourself are taking up the mantle of responsibility your grandfather once held himself. We go against the Golden Wolf, which is the hero's shade. In-game, it's the old hero of time. This same dude holds a sword in his left hand. He has, some of the most pristine royal armor of the army of Hyrule that I'd only imagine high-ranking generals and so on would wear. This is time. This is him, himself. Ocarina of Time stands out as not only important, but unique. Unique as in an aspect of, yes, it was the first 3D Zelda game, but that title holds some heavy weight to it. With it being the first 3D Zelda game, you'd have a lot of aspects needing to either be carried over or mentioned, or at least reworked. Some of these is Z targeting, or L targeting, or ZL targeting, or target lock. The moment that you can hold a button or toggle and lock onto an enemy, an item, a switch, anything, but you're not flailing your sword around. You're not attacking at air. You're attacking at what you want to attack. Ocarina of Time started this. Ocarina of Time also started the whole aspect of using musical prowess. And what that means, and I know I'm butchering that kind of term. But what I mean by this is similar to how Link's Awakening had you go from dungeon to dungeon to try to get a new instrument, to try to get the full song of, the Ballad of the Windfish. You're essentially making a one-man ensemble, a one-man orchestra to wake the giant fishy boy. Ocarina of Time would be the first game to do the concept of you have to get multiple songs. Ocarina of Time was the first to show that music is timeless. It surpasses time, and it's something you cannot physically touch. Ocarina of Time showed that music is imbued and tied in with the soul or spirit. I'd like to also clear something up. This was brought up in my What is the Immortal Spirit Force of the Hero video. And yes, I would like to say that I was using the term soul and spirit interchangeably, almost as if the two were the same thing. For the clarification of that theory video, I will just outright say yes. Contextual-wise, we were using spirit and soul as the same thing through that theory. I understand that in different parts of the world and in different religions and cultures, that spirit and soul are two completely different things. I understand that. But just for the sake of that theory video, we were using the two terms interchangeably, and I do want to apologize for that confusion. But what we see with music being tied in with the spirit is that if you use the Minuet of Forest, the Bolero of Fire, the Serenado of Wado, Annie, it's me, Wado, you do, I show you a hyperdrive, you try to win the race, and it's me, Wado. Requiem of Spirit, you get the point. It's it's one of those things that I've noticed that when you use a teleportation song, you just you don't dissolve, you don't decorporeate, or whatever that word is, but it almost looks like you turn into a big whole bundle of light, and almost like your entire physical being has now turned into, not really into an ethereal wave, but it almost looks like your physical being got broken down into its spiritual form, or a spiritual mass. Like, what I'm getting at is, you see the same thing in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. You see the same exact thing. You almost see a similar thing with with Twilight Princess almost. But it's like, Ocarina of Time showed that music would inherently be a bigger focus than what it was. Instead of being like, oh yeah, you're going to collect this flute and it's going to help you get across water, or oh yeah, you need to defeat this dungeon so you can get this drum set to then get this trumpet to then get this clarinet. Like, no. Instead of collecting a flute so you can get a bird to fast travel, you now get this flute, and you need to learn different songs, whether to teleport to this one location, or to summon out the moon, or to summon out the sun, or to summon out, some rain to help stuff grow, or to have fire go out. Music in Ocarina of Time was shown to be tied in with the spiritual aspect of yourself, but also with the elements and nature itself. I mean, for goodness sakes, we have Song of Storms, which literally is tied into you, the person, putting in your soul into your spirit. I know that we're interchangeably using the two things. I understand that the two are seen as different, but you would be quite literally, whether it's your soul, whether it's your spirit, whether it's your vitality, whether it's whatever you're doing, you are pouring a portion of yourself into that instrument, so then you can make the weather change. So then you can make it rain. So then you can make it sunny. So then you can make it nighttime. Or to even, warp to a lake, or inside of a volcano, or into a desert, or into a graveyard, or into the woods. Like, that's what I'm getting at. Something like otherworldly is tied in with the aspect of music and Hyrule. And Ocarina of Time was the first one to show that. And then it would start becoming almost normal onwards. You have it for another example, Wind Waker. You have a conductor's baton, so then you have to learn different songs. Different songs for teleporting, different songs for day and night, different songs for... You're starting to see the gist, right? Twilight Princess, you don't have an instrument. You are the instrument. You, as a wolf, can howl at different octaves, right? Find a howling stone, howl out a song with your grandfather, and he'll teach you a new type of hidden skill, right? And when it comes to music, like, a lot of people, and I hold this aspect as true, you can't touch music, but music can touch you. And that's because it can get you right in the soul. It can get you right in the spirit. It can get you right in the heart. Right? You listen to a really good song, whether it's a bop, whether it's sad, whether it's inspirational or melancholy, or if you know what I'm talking about, then that music can get at you. It can activate you. It can trigger something alive. And the Zelda team has shown that with starting with Ocarina of Time. And Ocarina of Time, whether it's the musical aspect, whether it's the Z targeting aspect, whether it's, breaking the conventional 2D format and making it 3D and all that, Ocarina of Time sealed the deal with that. It's quite literally so memorable and so legendary, it's held as one of the best video games of all time on many different lists and different viewpoints. To me, I find this special. I personally grew up with Ocarina of Time as my first Zelda game. My mother had an N64 with Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong 64. We had Majora's Mask, we had Ocarina of Time. We had quite a few different games for the N64. But Ocarina of Time was one of those, and it was my first Zelda game. My first, personally. It would be many years later until I would have my own copy of Ocarina of Time, but that was through the Zelda Collector's Edition for the GameCube, and I still have that copy. I still have that same disc now. Looking at the calendar, 23, no, it can't be 23 years later. Gonna quickly look at when this came out. When did Zelda Collector's Edition on GameCube come out?
The Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition for GameCube came out in North America on November 17, 2003.
Okay, so 2003, I was correct. So come this November, it's gonna be 23 years that the game came out, but when did I actually get it? It could have been actually 23 years ago, but not on release. God, I don't know. It's been basically more than 20 years, though, that I've had the GameCube version, right? Not the Master Quest version, but this is the one that had, like, it had Zelda 1, it had Zelda 2, it had Majora's Mask, it had Ocarina of Time. So it had 4 playable Zelda games. It had a video retrospective of all the games that came out at that point. It had a demo of Wind Waker, because Wind Waker, I think, was just brand new, I think. But, yeah, and then it took a few years after that until I finally beat Ocarina of Time for the first time, so... I think I was, God... It must have been fucking 2008, so 10 years after Ocarina finally came out, right? So 2008, God, I was about to be 13, I think it was. Yeah. Because then after that, then I played Twilight Princess and I beat that. Yeah, okay. So, yeah. Because as a kid, I got all the way up to Jabu Jabu, and then I got stuck on, like, where the fuck to go and all of that, and I'd always restart a new file over and over and over and over and over again as a kid, and then finally I'm like, no, I gotta beat this, I gotta do this, and I'm like, whoa! But man, Ocarina of Time is a very important game to me. It's a very important game to the Zelda series. It's a very important game to all of us. It's a very important game story-wise. And that's why when I saw the remake announced, I have high hopes. This is coming from someone who, yes, heard about the rumors around February or March of 2026. This is someone who did not originally believe it to be true. This is coming from someone who quite literally, like, even though I didn't believe it to be true, I was still hype as fuck. Like, ooh, yo, like, I don't know if it's actually real or not. Like, I'd still need to have more info on it, but yo, if that's true, I'm gonna be hype as fuck either way. And again, like, good friend Zoey the Dream Shrine, she was right on it. She was right on that prediction. So again, a big shout out to her. You know? Big shout out. I personally do not like all of the hate. Not even within 8 hours. Like, the announcement for Ocarina of Time's remake happened, and then not even, what was it, 8 hours later, people were shitting on it left and right. I personally do not understand the hate and this whole tirade of being anti-Zelda and all this shit. But as someone with a working and functioning brain, as someone who is now 2 days sober of nicotine and will never go back to having any source of nicotine ever again, with someone that has understood the lore of Zelda and has basically a family within the Zelda community of itself, I just want to say, we need more. I'm not saying that what we have is bad. It's not. It is a pretty cool and amazing, mind-blowing concept. I wouldn't say that it is inherently or fully I wouldn't say it's fully a trailer. We don't have any gameplay or any actual... God, how do I say this? If anything in that trailer is finalized, it wasn't given to us, okay? All of that was a concept. There's a tapestry, there's voice acting, and then there's the hero asleep. Now, while all of this may reflect what might be in the final game, we don't know what's in the final game. We haven't seen any gameplay. We haven't seen any in-game shots. We've only seen, like, one cutscene, and it's probably from the beginning of the game. I personally am hyped for this game, though. Yes, I agree. We don't have any gameplay. We don't have anything further than what we have. But I'm also hyped for it. I can't lie. Like, yeah, I'm a Zelda fan. Yeah, I'm a Nintendo fan. Yeah, we need more, you know, we need more than just this cinematic. But if that cinematic alone was proof that Ocarina of Time Remake is a true thing, I'm not going to be bashing on that. For fuck's sakes. That almost looks like what RwanLink or Major... God, like, I'm going to have to link so many people in the description, but there's a couple of animators like RwanLink who I really like, and I think, who am I thinking of? Major... I'm going to have to cut this part out. So it's MajorLink I'm thinking of. That's actually who I was thinking of. MajorLink and also RwanLink. Those two are like the 3D animators of like the hero's purpose and the story of Ganondorf Dragmire and all that. Like, I've been a fan of that for a long time, and when I saw the new Ocarina of Time Remake concept trailer, or actual real whatever you want to call it, it reminded me of their works. Okay, this remake I'm going to get it. I personally have always loved the importance and the story of Ocarina and how it bleeds on into Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, A Link to the Past, and so on. But I would have a couple of things I would want, more or less modern button and handheld like controller layouts. Like, I don't know, if you're gonna be using if you're gonna be using multiple items and stuff, and you gotta go into the pause menu, can we please have like a quick select button menu or something like that? Like, I don't know. I just don't want to be going into a temple and having to press the pause menu every 2 minutes to activate iron boots, and then deselect them and select them and deselect them and select them and deselect them and select them. This went on for a very long time, and Oaf decided to have a Anyway, I think the main takeaway of this video, and again, I am sorry for not having a script ready for this. I just couldn't script this one. I felt like this one needed to come off the top of the head. And this one needed to be a little bit more personalized, have that little personalized touch of the je ne sais quoi. I am going to be getting the Ocarina of Time Remake for Switch 2. I don't understand the hate at all. I really don't fucking get it. Yes, I understand one point that being we don't have any gameplay and all we have is the tapestry followed by a hero asleep who has the Triforce beforehand. But, that's fine. I mean, let Nintendo cook, for God's sakes. All these same people who are shitting on Zelda are probably the same people who have never fucking played a Zelda game in their life, or shit on Zelda and then still play Zelda and just don't care. I've said this before in a video, but don't listen to the haters out there. Don't listen to all the negativity, because it will it'll get to you if you listen to it. If you want this game, if you're excited for the Ocarina of Time remake, get it. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, because nobody else can tell you what you can and can't think. Nobody can tell you what you can and can't like. You be you. Especially with this being Pride Month, you be you. Don't let anybody else hold you down. Don't let anybody else tell you can't do what you could do. Can't be who you could be. Can't. You are you. And ain't nobody know you better than yourself. So just be you, Once more, thanks for watching, listening, handling my rambling. Again, this was more of a stream of consciousness off the top of the head kind of thing. I really couldn't get a script going, and it kind of shows, because when trying to tackle a topic like this before the game comes out, it's not easy. It really isn't easy. I'll probably have a follow-up to this after the game comes out, of, hey, did I like it? What's my review of it? All this other stuff. But yeah, Ocarina of Time stands as a very important game to me. It was my first ever Zelda game, and it was the first ever 3D Zelda game overall. I have such high regards for it, even if it's not my absolute favorite Zelda game. It's the Zelda game that would lead into my favorite Zelda game. So I would definitely sit here and say, like, what are my thoughts on the Ocarina of Time remake? I agree, we need to see some more stuff, especially if it's coming out this year. Likely coming out in November on its, what is that, 28th? Yeah, the 28th anniversary of Ocarina of Time. 1998 to 2026, yeah, that's 28 years. God, I hate that fact. I really hate that fact. I'm 30 myself. I hate that. Ooh, I don't feel good. I feel dirty. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next thing, whatever that next thing is, because I don't have a theory video being cooked up this time. So whatever comes out for the second channel, 2.0, for this place here, this, yeah, I'll let you guys know. But as of right now, I don't got anything planned. So yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.